Okay, well, I think we'll get started. I don't want to hold any of you up that have been here. And as people come in after that, we can catch them up, and there will be a recording of this that would be available to everybody at the end as well. So, first of all, welcome. I'm really excited for everyone to be here, and I'm really excited to talk about AI and how it can transform your remodeling business. This is something I've been using for a while, and it's been, very exciting to me, all of the progress I've seen in our company and I've seen in remodeling companies. So let's get started. First thing I really want to mention is a little bit about me, so that you know who I am and why you should maybe spend the next 45 minutes to an hour listening to what I have to say. So I've had more than 10 years of experience in the remodeling industry and digital marketing industry. More than 50 businesses, we've increased their revenue. The author of Stop Wasting Your Money, The Remodeler's No BS Guide to Digital Marketing that actually works. And hopefully that will be published this summer. I've spoken at industry events, widely accepted as a premier expert in the internet marketing industry for remodeling. And I've worked with remodeling businesses all over the United States. So we have them from California to Boston and everywhere in between. Not every state yet, but we're working on that. Kind of a unique part about me that's a little bit different than maybe a lot of other digital marketing agency owners is that I do actually have a doctorate degree in business administration, and I've taught finance, entrepreneurship, and marketing. I was the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship at my university. That's kind of how this business started, because we would go out with the small business administration and students, help small businesses grow, and 95, if not 99% of them needed help with their digital marketing. But then once the semester was over and we left them, they were like, now what? And they needed help. So thus, long story short, a business was born. And especially, I think, for this message today is that I've been studying and using AI heavily for the past 2 years and have really integrated it. So I literally can't probably imagine a day, unless I'm on vacation, and even then I might be tempted, that I don't use AI. So really want to bring this into all of your lives, and so that you can help your businesses grow with this as well. So what actually is AI, for one? Let's just cover that quickly. And also, why does it matter for a remodel? It's like, what's important to you about AI? So what is AI? So what is it really? It refers to machines or software that can simulate human thinking and decision making. So in other words, it can understand language, it can use research, it can learn from examples, and it can generate content that sounds fairly human. But what are they're like buzzwords, but what really is it? It's really a smart assistant who works 24/7, doesn't get tired, right? Right? Something we've always wanted. Everybody wants someone who's always ready to work for you, never tired, always ready to help, and is free or practically free. It really isn't very expensive. It's amazing. But you do know you have to learn how to use it, and then how to use it best. And one of the things I'm going to emphasize, this probably in these next 2 sentences written on this thing, is the things I'm going to emphasize the most. The better the information you give it, the better results, okay? And you also need to fact check and make sure that the content sounds like the human you want it to sound like, right? Is it you? Do you have a business? Do you have a tone? And is it useful, right? Is someone that reads it going to get the answer for what they were looking for, or be better off having read that? Those are key results. Let me give you a quick example, and this happens every day, but I'll just give you a quick example, which happened 2 days ago when I was creating this presentation about fact checking. So I put in, I was like, oh, I have case studies that I've used in my agency. You have case studies of other clients that I have that used AI. But let's see if there's any more out there. So I said to AI, go into ChatGPT. I said, hey, can you give me some case studies of remodeling companies that have used AI to increase their production or their sales, so forth. Spit 5 out right away. Look at the first one. It literally gave me a company name in a city, a lookup. That company exists in that city. And it says that they've used AI to increase their Facebook impressions and engagement, like 75%. Yeah. They do have a Facebook page, but they haven't posted on it in 3 or 4 years. Like, okay. Next one was this company again, real company, real city. It exists. Look on their website and it says the case study, how much they've increased their engagement with blogs. Well, they don't even have a blog on their website. So I go back to AI and I'm like, well, what is this? They're like, oh, well, those weren't real companies. Those were just fictional companies of what you could do with AI. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. So, okay, simple example. Imagine if I didn't check that. And I put this in this presentation and one of you goes out and looks and checks it and says, that company doesn't even post on Facebook. That company doesn't even have a blog, right? All my credibility would disappear. So it's extremely important to everything, fact check it, make sure that they're giving you the right results because it doesn't always. So you want to think of AI as a new kind of digital toolbox for you, right? You wouldn't go out and build a house without power tools. You shouldn't try to grow your remodeling business unless you're using AI. It will give you that strategic advantage. It's very important. So why should you care about this as a remodeler? Well, I know the industry, as I said, I've worked in the industry a long time, and we know that they're facing probably more serious pressure on these issues than even before, right? Rising material costs. We went through not knowing what material costs would be during COVID, right? Are we going to get those materials? And then if we get it, what's it going to cost? Well, we're having the same kinds of issues right now with tariffs being introduced. So we know that's an issue. Labor shortage, right? Becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Client expectations for faster communication. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I do because I talk to remodelers all the time. Clients expect, like you came here yesterday, I don't have your estimate, your proposal, your estimate today. They text you and you don't answer them for 2 hours and they think you don't care about them. So this can help you automate with AI and combination of automations, make sure you're communicating quickly. And there's just a growing online competitiveness. I know 10 years ago, I could have made a tenth of the type of website we make now, and we could have ranked on page 1 very quickly. So it takes a lot more to be competitive online. So basically, it's just harder to stay profitable and organized in your industries, and I realize that. So we want to help you use AI for a competitive advantage, so you can become more accessible to your clients and your prospective clients, more affordable because we're going to cut costs, make this more efficient, and more user-friendly to your clients. So there are endless possibilities. We're only going to touch on a few here, but one of the things I hear all the time is, well, we're just a small company. This doesn't fit for us. So we're not a tech company. This literally is not just for tech companies or large companies. Everyone can use it. From the smallest companies, when we were half the size of what we are, we were using it, and we use it even more the larger we get, and have literally someone dedicated to doing automations and AI in our company. Well, that's a single person dedicated to that. That's how much we use it. So it has a possibility of being trained for hundreds of positions that can work in your business. So let's just go through a few, like a marketing assistant, right? They can help you with copywriting, blog writing, post generation, Instagram copies. So we're going to go through a little bit more when I get to how to use it, on how we would actually use this for blog writing. But so I'm going to get more detail on that. But those are some things. Virtual assistant, they can help you organizing your emails, scheduling, following up with emails, give you client estimates, proposals in minutes, right? I also take so much time figuring out a proposal and then an email to go with it. Now I can just say, here's the changes from my classic proposal. They make those changes. I can have them read my notes that I actually take with AI and take those notes, a summary, take that, give that to AI and say, write the email that I should follow up with the proposal here. Now, again, it's going to be a constant emphasis. I read that email. Is that exactly what I want to say? I even still check the proposal. Did it make all the changes I want to get? But again, I might have saved 20 minutes on the email, 5 minutes on the proposal. There's a half an hour that day that I just saved. Okay. It can help you train employees and create SOPs or standard operating procedures so that when someone comes in, they know exactly what to do and no one's having question on what they're expected to do. Coach for sales objections. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we move through. Explaining financial options clearly. So there's just like endless possibilities. And we're going to give you at the end a a 100 prompts to just give you an ideas of different things that you could do. But there's even more than that. So how is this affecting remodelers? Well, I'll tell you one thing, the ones that are doing it are consistently growing faster, right? Because their content looks better, their systems run smoother, and their leads aren't going cold, right? Because they're following up. They're, as soon as somebody's missing get a call. So this happens all the time, right? You've gone through, you've gone out, you've given them an estimate, you spend time with them, and then they say, we're not sure. It's more expensive than we thought, we're gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so you might jot down in a note timer and they call them back in 3 months. What about if in between that time, in those 3 months, they got 3 or 4 times emails from you? Oh, here's what we wrote about our latest blog about kitchen remodel. Oh, here's what we talked about a new offer that we're giving, and they got that in. Oh, here's what we've talked about on our latest new deck building ideas. So all of that, they're getting touched, and now you call them a couple months later, and they're like, oh yeah, we've been seeing the stuff that you do, and they're more likely to be open to listening to you, and they'll remember your name, or even before that, they'll call you. And everyday tasks being automated. So one of the things I recommend here is there's a book called Buy Your Time Back by Dan Martell. And one of the things they say in there is to outline like everything you do for 2 weeks. And AI can help you do this. You can help you list it all, and then go back and say, what were some tasks that I'm doing repeatedly? And how can AI help with that? And then what are tasks that I could delegate to someone else? So one of the things Dan Martell walks through in this book is what is your value at the highest levels of things that you do, your tasks, right? Probably $200 or $300 or $400 an hour from the tasks that you do. But then look at all the tasks that you do. Are you doing some tasks that an office manager could do for $20, $30 an hour? But you're wasting that then if you could be making $200 or $300 an hour doing something else. So AI will help you do that. And then you can decide, do I delegate it? Do I get AI to do it? How can we do this better so you're more efficient? And then you can spend more time doing what you do guys best, remodeling kitchens, baths, decks, homes, all of that. And the other thing I hear objections for using AI is I'm gonna lose my personal touch, okay? But if you do AI right, which we're going to talk about here, you won't lose your personal touch. In fact, you will elevate the way that you create relationships with clients because you'll be able to do it better and faster and more efficient, and you can add your personal touch. Okay. So the next 2 or 3 slides are probably the most important slides in the entire presentation, because we're going to talk again about different things you can do, different prompts and so forth. But the most important thing is training AI for your needs, okay? So again, we talked about before, what you put in, the better you put in, the better you're gonna get out. These are 2 systems for using AI, 2 approaches, very similar, but that I have learned and that has helped me with immensely using these methods. So, and these are, I am not sure, I think if we'll have to get the links. I'll add those into the chat. Let's see, here's one of those links. I'm going to grab it and put it in the chat. And we'll come back to that. And then this is, well, I'll get to the other one when we get there, and I'll put that in the chat as well. And in the other one, it will give you, so Jonathan Mast, I highly, if you want to learn more about AI, follow him on Facebook. I've been following him for the last 18 months. I think he's gone from like 2 or 3 followers. I think he has over 2 million followers right now. He gives great information for free. There are things that occasionally he'll say, hey, you want to join this group or that group? And that's up to you. And I've joined a couple. They have all been valuable. I am actually trying to get Jonathan to come on to our advanced class as well. But there's a link in this next sheet that I'll give you, the AI guide for the attendees, which we'll definitely get into chat in a second. But in there, it's a link to this. It's about 10 to 15 minutes where he walks through this prompting framework in more detail. So, but oops, it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go through it. So the idea is, first, tell ChatGPT how it should act. So for example, You are an expert copywriter specializing in high converting Google ad campaigns. Okay, so now that you'll see in the next one, that would kind of be the role. So the next framework uses role instead of tell them how you should act, right? Very similar though. Context. I want you to help me write 3 unique Google ads following, and they give some marketing frameworks. Each ad should have 2 possible titles and 2 descriptions, right? So this is what I want you to do. That's your task, right? And then generate these Google ad variations to promote whatever company there it is to target audience. Now, I would probably, and you'll see this another example I'm going to give, I would talk more about who is the advertiser, who is that company. I might even point them to the website, or I might add a PDF that tells about, or a Word document that tells about that company. And you'd say, read this document first, or go to that website first, and learn about the advertiser before you come up with an answer. And then also be more specific. You might talk about that you only want to deal with homeowners that make this kind of income, that live in these zip codes. So you can be the more specific, the better. And then, whoops, oh, I'm sorry. Then always ask clarifying questions. So please ask me any clarifying questions that will help you provide the best possible response. Because it is amazing. Sometimes I have thought that I'm so good at this, and I have gotten to every single thing I've told them about, they should know about it. And then they'll ask me clarifying questions, and I'm like, yep, forgot that. I forgot that. So it is one of the most important parts of that framework. Now, another one, so Jonathan Mask is really more the everyday entrepreneur, the tasks. How do you do the more simple things? Jeff Woods, who wrote AI-Driven Leader, and it's a link to his book, but he also has done a lot on YouTube if you don't want to read the whole book. I think his book is also on Audible. But he's more of a strategy guy. So he looks at it a little bit, but he still has the framework is very similar. And what he taught me, and I'll show you, I'm pulling it off my computer screen right here. It's a little sticky note. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, how can AI help me do this? And then it says CRIT, which stands for context, role, interview, and task. And it's there because when I'm spending a lot of time and I look down, I'm like, wait a minute, could AI help me do this? And he gave that in one of the presentations I saw him deliver, and I've always had it. I have it on every one of my computer screens, no matter where I'm traveling, to make me remember as well. But the idea is here, give context. So an example here, you're on the board of directors of this company, you're making so much, and I'm going to give a more detailed one of this just a little bit, and you're unsure of how much to invest in your marketing or where. What's your role? Advise the company on how much and where to invest. Ask at least 3 qualifying questions before you answer this. So that this task that will help you, and then the task, recommend the marketing budget and the channel strategy to help with your growth. So let's look at it in detail, right? Here would be the whole prompt that I'm going to put in. Then I'm going to actually show you what the results are in ChatGPT and putting in a real company. But again, same thing, board of directors. Now I'm telling them to go to this website, telling them the revenue. I'm telling them the number and the types of projects we do. I'm telling them the kind of employees we have and that we use subcontractors, where we work, the city and state, how far away we go from that city and state, what our goal is, doubling our revenue, how we're doing our marketing now, referrals, Facebook, a website, so forth, what we've done in the past. And then what are we looking for? We're looking for how much should we spend and where should we spend it? Your task as the board member is to recommend how much and where. Ask 3 clarifying questions. And then you'll see down here, I give some follow-up questions, but let's come back to that. So let's go into ChatGPT. And so I kind of did this backwards. So the first thing I did was go through this, give this very detailed. Then I went back. Let me go back and find where I did it here. I went back and I asked the question, tell me what a remodeler should, so I forget the beginning part. I just wrote, tell me what a remodeler should invest in marketing and where they should invest it. Now, I do have the paid version. It's only $20 a month again, but so it remembered the other chat and it gave me like this really detailed answer. I'm like, well, how did you know all that? And it said, well, I assumed you were referring to your last chat. So I'm like, no, okay. So now I re-asked it, please ignore everything else in this ChatGPT account and tell me what a remodeler should spend on marketing and where they should spend it. And it wasn't a bad answer. I mean, it kind of did assume that size of a remodeler, but then it still said 7 to 10%. It talked about conservative and aggressive, and it broke down 4 areas to spend your money, and got into some details into those. And then it actually talked about where you should focus geographically. And then it said, would you like me to go further? Do you want a 12-month marketing plan? What else would you want? So it's not bad. It's good information, but it's not very detailed. Then I went in, right, and did, oops, gotta get to the top. I gave it much more. So now I went in, put a real company, a real website, told them specifics about the company, gave a specific town, an area, and where they do have a fairly new website, but it's 30 pages. I put Facebook, and again, what that count, but they don't post too often in it. Their past result, what they've done in the past in marketing, and then asked, I want to know recommendations on how much and where should they invest in marketing, and ask 3 qualifying questions, one at a time, that would help you answer this request. So took more work to put this all in, but we get better results. So what did they ask me? First of, hey, if we give you twice as many projects, can you handle that? So I talked about that. We would like some higher tickets, but yes, we could handle that. Then they said, what's your profit margin? And would you be willing to spend 8 to 12% of revenue on this? And so I gave them the profit margin, and I'm getting a little leery. And I'm thinking to myself, as really looking at this question, I'm like, well, if I say I'm willing, then are they gonna box me into the 10%? So I wrote, I'd be comfortable with 10% if my revenue doubled. Is that 10% the generally recommended amount? So they answered me, yes, it is a widely accepted benchmark for that, but let's go. And they kind of say, but we have more questions. So then they asked me what my ideal client and projects would be. I answer that, and now they're ready to go. So now they give me a marketing budgeting recommendation. But look how much more detailed it is. So now they're breaking it down by month and giving me places. And they're even telling me a couple of keywords in here that you could rank for. Now, you can get, once you read through this whole thing, you'll see how detailed it is, but you can go back and say, so for the phase 1, you told me to use websites, SEO, and rank for words like kitchen remodel Newton. Are there other keywords you would suggest? So you can go back and keep asking it questions and dig deeper. Now, one thing I do want to say is that it won't be able to go into paid apps and find out. Like as an agency, we pay a lot of money for apps like Ahrefs and SEMrush and Moz and Search Atlas to give us, details on keywords and things like that, because these companies spend a lot of money researching it, and they pay for it by companies like me that pay for that. So it won't go into that, but you'll still get decent results. You won't get as good results as a paid app, but you're still going to get decent results. And even here, where it says Google Business Profile Optimization. So you can go back in and say, well, it says to optimize my Google Business Profile. How would I do that? And then it can tell you there. And even if you don't want to do this yourself, and you do want to have a marketing agency do it for you, now you know what should be being done and what keywords you kind of want to be aiming at. So you're more educated to work with your marketing company. So it will help you with that alone. Again, get down to the professional photographers. You could even say, help me find a photographer in my area. How much would be a reasonable amount to pay them, and so forth. Then they get into the second phase, again, details on how much you should spend and so forth. Then it actually even gives you KPIs and goals that you should track. Then it goes through, it gives you a graph on it. And then it says, if you were looking for a company, a marketing company, what should you do? Well, you should look for industry experience. You should evaluate the website and case studies. It gives you questions to ask them. Bonuses, red flags to avoid, and then it asks further, would you want to go into agencies vetted? And if you want, you could say, yes, give me that. If not, you can go and ask them other questions from what you learned above. But the key thing, takeaway that I want to show you is the difference, the detail that I got from this answer, right? Because of the fact of how I answered it here, of how I asked it here, compared to just, hey, how much should I spend on for marketing and remodeling and where, right? When you feed all of this in, you're going to get better results. That's one of the key things. I want to show you, what did I do? Last week I was interviewing for a client success manager, account manager, and I fed it in. Let's show you. It gave me some, on a digital marketing, all about my company, what that account manager or client success manager would do. I actually went back and ran this a second time and actually gave our goals and our values of the company and got it more. Then they asked me some questions, like what level of industry knowledge should they have? What tools should they know? Will they have upsales and renewals that are involved? Retention. Answered all of those. And then they gave me really great interview questions out here, like really good, separated it by area, industry and market knowledge, client communication, and so forth, all the way through. Then it gave me a rubric on how to score them, gave me some red flags, and then came up with this interviewing scorecard, which I literally used and hired a great person. So again, I gave them a lot. I didn't just say, give me some interviews for an account manager. I spent some time doing all of this and got a lot better information. So I really hope, again, use one or they're very similar contexts here and here, but we're going to talk about prompts later on, but around those prompts, they're going to be very simple prompts. Use one or two of these sources, one or both of them, they're very similar, and use those in your prompts, and you're going to get so much better information. I'll give you the board of directors example. So one thing that Greg Woods, is how someone came to him as a client and he does some consulting on AI. Said, where's company's going to go under unless we can change the board of directors idea on, I forget exactly what they're changing their mind on. So they said, okay, let's do this. So they fed all of this information about the personalities, the resumes, all of this information about the board of directors. Then they fed it some past presentations. And then the AI said, I think that probably this presentation fell apart on slide 7 because the board of director, the head of the CEO, looked at it and said, there's too much detail, and he got off track and the whole meeting went down. And they went back and they said, what happened? They're like, that is exactly what happened in that meeting. So now they knew they had it trained well. Then they went back and used the new presentations that they wanted to do, did present it, and the board did change their mind and go the direction they wanted, and then the company was successful. So that's just an example of how effective AI can be. Another thing that I'm doing and I'm building right now is we're a small company. I don't have a board of directors, but I can with AI, right? And I'm working on them right now. So I'm feeding in information like Dan Martell to help me be more effective with my time management. He's on my board of directors. I'm feeding all of the information I know about him in there. We've got Steve Jobs for innovation. So all of these people I'm feeding in, right? He's not even alive, but he's there on the board of directors. And then you can ask questions from that with the board of directors. So when we have our advanced class, I'll kind of go into more, how would you build something like that? We're going to stick more with prompts, but I'm just kind of giving you ideas of things that we could do. Okay, so get down to the basics. What are 6 ways that remodelers right now, I know, are using AI to help? So one is content creation. Facebook, Instagram, scripts for reels and videos, blog outlines, customer review requests, right? AI can go out and search the internet really quickly and come up with words, strategies, solutions for your needs. So I said we'd get back to a little bit more information on blog outlines. So you can ask AI if you're trying to think of, hey, I'm going to do a blog. Well, okay, so let's say you're a deck builder. Okay, so what are the questions? It's tell them the day of the month, where you live. It is early May, and I live, in Massachusetts, and we do deck building. And what are the questions people right now are asking most? And it will scan and find, again, well, not in the paid results, but it'll still give you results. Then from that, you could pick one. So you might say, give me 10 topics, you pick 1 or 2. And then in the blogs, one thing is AI, just as I said, I might not have said it, but I meant to in the other one, when you are asking in these prompts, stick to 1 to 2 things, right? And that last one example I gave you is, how much should we spend on marketing and where? So that was it. I would not go further than that. You can go afterwards, you can expand on it. But when you're first starting, 1 to 2 questions max in there. The blogs, again, AI is good with small pieces. So now you get an idea. So you got 10, you picked one. Now you say to them, hey, can you outline this blog? Once you like the outline, you've got a bunch of headings, heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then start filling it in by heading. AI does much better when you fill it in by heading. So say, okay, fill in heading 1, talk about that. Approve it, don't approve it, add more, take some out, so forth. Get to the next one, the next one, the next one. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's still faster than writing it from scratch on your own to do that. And then, of course, you always want to fact check, make sure it's answering the questions and it sounds human. So you're still going to go with that. Then we built an AI tool that we now take those blogs and we throw it into this tool that we've developed, and actually was based off some of the methods from Jonathan Mast. And it will now spit out, once we throw that in about our blog, it will give us 21 posts and 5 or 6 reels, scripts for reels. Okay. Now I'm the one who does the video, so those reels get sent to me. Do I use it exactly as is? 99% of the time, no. Maybe 1 in 100, I'll be like, oh, it's really good, I'll use that. But almost always I change it a little bit. So maybe it takes me 5 minutes to go over the script and change up that reel. But it would have taken me 45 minutes or more probably to come up with it from scratch. So now I'm working with something good and I'm now personalizing it for me, but I'm doing it in 1/5 of the time. Okay. So those are all ways that AI can help you produce and create this content. So down in our pro tip, let's see, you could pair. So you might have a before and after photo of your job. So you're going to feed that in. Again, if you've trained it and already knows about your company, it knows your website, it knows your company. And now you say, write 100-word caption for this before and after post on a master bathroom that increased property value. Okay. Again, if it didn't know you, if you're in the free version and paid version, free version of ChatGPT, for example, and it didn't remember everything, you might cut and paste that information about your company in so it knows it, the location and so forth. And then I would always end it right after I wrote this. Please ask me any qualifying questions that would help you give me a better answer. And it's amazing, even though you might have set up all of this thing. So we're going to give you a lot of short prompts like this. But then remember, use that method that I talked about. Here's the role. Here's all the content you need. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Here's the task. And then ask any qualifying questions. You'll get so much better results. Sales communication. So it can follow up with emails and texts. It can draft explanations for friendlier tones. Hey, I want to change the tone of this. It can give you pricing tiering descriptions, good, better, best. Can do call scripts for your office managers. So here in the sales communication, so some of this is literally when I'm in the car driving now, I could pick up my ChatGPT and I can say, hey, lately a lot of my clients have been objecting that our prices are too high, right? Which that kind of can go almost for any industry. We always hear that, right? These are some. Can we role play on that? And literally, I could be driving in my car, and on my speaker, we'll be role playing with ChatGPT to make it better. I don't usually do this when I'm driving, but I can also put transcripts from video sales things, or I also use this thing, I don't have it on right now. It's called Plaud, Plaud. And because a lot of remodelers are out on the road, they're not doing Zoom all the time. So this, I just click it, I wear it on my wrist. You could wear it as a necklace or attach it onto your shirt, or you could just have it on the back of your phone. There's that too. And you just click the button and it starts recording the message. Then when you get home, put it in its little carrier, it uploads it. It gives you not only a transcript, but it summarizes it. So now I can take that summary, I can take my estimate, and I can say to ChatGPT, can you write me an email from the summary of this? And the summary also has action steps. So it'd be, say, you said you would get them the estimate by Friday afternoon, that you would be able to start the project a week from Tuesday, whatever the things are, it will be all in that summary. Tremendous amount of time savings. And you don't miss things. They don't fall through the cracks. So it really, really helps you do that. And again, you always want to personalize your message. So like AI, as we said, it'll get you 90% of the way there, but that human touch. So after you look through it, and I actually will mention some personal things that they might say, oh, well, I can't meet you on Monday because it's my son's birthday. So they might mention that at the end. You're like, hey, by the way, have a great birthday celebration with your son. Boop, you didn't forget that, because it was all caught in the notes. So helpful. Projects, systems, and internal operations. So again, that idea of going through and seeing what do you do every day and what's repetitive and what could you hand off to someone else. But then you can build end of day checklists for your crew, so they know, are the tools all away? Did we, say goodbye to the client? Did we set up the next time we were coming? All of these things could be in a checklist. Handoff docs, we know things get lost between, right, what the salesperson did and what production is doing. If we have these handoff documents, that won't happen as much. Onboarding guidelines for new hires. New hire comes in right away. They know your processes. A draft punch list for templates. You'd have a template set up for a kitchen remodel, a bathroom remodel, a deck build, so forth. So we look at the AI tip we have down here, right? Create a punch list, a template for a kitchen remodel. Right? Now, that's pretty broad, but you might say a kitchen remodel, and it will include cabinets, countertops, whatever it may include in there, flooring, lighting. So you've got that in there and it will pull that together. And it'll take a little bit of learning, but once you've got that down, now you're like, this is what comes down with counters. This is what comes down with cabinets and so forth. So it really would help make your operations way more efficient. Marketing strategies and SEO. So again, we already have talked about the blogs and outlining those blogs. Service pages, you can write pages, doesn't have to be a service page. You could write pages for your blog if you're going to try to do it on your own or your service page. You can also say, you can upload the content into AI and say to it, hey, I'm in XYZ town and state. This is my niche. Can you look at this page, look at competitors in this area, and tell me how different ways I could improve this page? And it can say keywords, locations, your call to action. You don't have enough call to actions. It might tell you a bunch of different things that you could do. So simple things like that. Developing scripts, we talked about that. Email and nurturing sequences. I think I mentioned that a little bit, but you have that client or even if you've had them, now they were a client and you remodeled their kitchen. Well, maybe next year they want a deck put on the back. Well, they're hearing from you every month because you're talking about, wow, here's the latest kitchen remodel we did in your area. Look at these pictures. We just sent them that. Here's the latest blog we wrote on bathroom models in a master bath, right? And so they're hearing from you once a month, once every 3 weeks. And then maybe all of a sudden there's an offer, 10% off on a brand new kitchen remodel. And they were like, hey, we've been thinking about it. We've been hearing from these guys. Let's go ahead. So we use the nurturing sequences and the AI to help us write that. So again, here's a pro tip. Write a blog outlined top 5 kitchen mistakes homeowners make in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. Again, though, you would want to either you've trained ChatGPT or whatever you're using. We'll talk about different tools. Trained it on your company here, and or the beginning part right above this, you talk about your company, where you are, what you do, what types of projects you do. You put in your website, any other marketing material that you want AI to read, you just give it to that first. Then you're giving a task, and then always end with, what are any qualifying questions you need to ask me before you can answer this question? Okay. 5, customer experience. So writing and update emails on ongoing jobs. So we have this going on with us. We've worked it through. We've got someone has a new website that they're working on that we're building for them. What do? Well, once we finish the process of doing the keyword, first thing we always do is the keyword. Well, first we do onboarding, so they would know that because they're involved with onboarding. But then you'd be doing keyword research and competitor research. Then we'd send off an automation. Hey, we finished your keyword research and competitor research. The SEO specialists are outlining your website. Then that's done. Now the writers and the editors are writing the content. That's done. Now the web developers are putting the content and the pictures on your website. So you're getting notified, right? And you can do the same thing. The materials have arrived. We'll be ready to start work on Monday, so forth. Whatever you might need with the ongoing jobs. A big thing is new people, brand new remodeling, what to expect guide. Wouldn't that be great if somebody came to your site, your website, and they're like, I've never done this before. They don't feel confident. They don't know what to do. they're like, oh, look at this company. It has a what to expect guide, which most companies don't have. And now but to download it and get it, they need to give you your name, phone number, email. So now you can call them and like, well, we're just thinking about it. We're not ready. Boom, they're going into your email sequence to follow up with them. Review request messages, generate a post product, a post project list. So you've just finished a brand new composite deck for somebody. What was the maintenance things? How do you upkeep that, right? You're going above and beyond what most companies do, what most remodeling companies do. What's that going to get you? Trust, referrals, good reviews. And it doesn't take much once you use AI to do this. You'll get so much more efficient. So a tip here, right? Client communication plan by project phase with AI. They'll save you dozens of emails once you get it set up and automated. And finally, 6 would be the finance estimates. So helping you with finance and estimates, breaking down price tables, explaining billing schedules and deposits, writing scripts for payment plan options, drafting annual budgets and lists for your team. This is something that we've really put in a lot, was our budgets and keeping it up to date with the team. And then the team we also have integrated profit sharing in, but the team will be like, they're much more focused on expenses because they're involved in this. And that was something that we really worked on with our budgets, our checklists, and profit sharing on the team. So a tip here, write a friendly guide that explains how projects costs are estimated in bathroom remodels. So hey, people are like, how did you come up with this cost? Well, look, this is how we go about doing that. So any of these things that would help, and you develop this library of things, and the more that you get used to it, the more that you start to use it and you start to think of ideas. And hopefully these 100 prompts will also help you think of a lot of ideas. So key, I know I'll be repeating a few things here, but these are, again, I would say the most important. The others are ideas of things to do, but the most important is that framework of using the prompts and these do's and don'ts. If that's all you take away from this, you will be so much better at using AI. So don't just copy and paste without reading, right? I could have done that with my case studies that were completely made up by AI, but I didn't, luckily. So make sure it also sounds like your business. Don't ask vague things to AI, like just write me something good, right? You're not going to get good, right? The more context you give, the better you're going to get. Don't let it replace your real voice. Use it to enhance, but not erase your human touch. And the more you train it with things, even you can set it like, here's a bunch of things that I have written in the past, and it will get an idea of your tone and voice that you want. Or you may want to emulate someone else that you know, or professionally, maybe you don't even know them personally. You could say, use the voice of XYZ. And feed them some stuff to go and look at on YouTube, or books that they've written, things like that. And then they'll use that voice if that's what you want to do, but you can do that. Don't think you need to do everything. Okay, so this is what happened in the beginning when we started integrating AI into some of our writing, and then our writers would like a 500-word blog that answered a question pretty well, now became a 2,500-word blog. And that would be fine if we needed 2,500 words to answer the question. But a lot of times you didn't, but just because AI spit it out, they thought, oh, well, we should just use it. There's that many more words out there. But no, again, make sure it's answering the question and make sure it has that human touch. No one's going to read it if you start repeating yourself, right? You want to answer the question, make it sound like a human. And don't assume the facts are correct. Well, I can't emphasize that enough. Look for real information. So the do's, add your personality, right? No, it sounds repetitive that I'm saying it, but it's so important, right? AI can't sound like you unless you guide it, or whoever you want it to sound like. Be specific with your prompts, right? Include your services, your location, the tone, the purpose. The more you include, the better you'll get. Edit and double check everything. You know, AI can get weird. Like I just decided to make up case studies for me. Use it consistently, even 3 prompts a week. And that's one of the challenges I'm going to ask you to do at the end. Try doing 1 a day. Just try it. 1 a day. Like, let me try with this. You will get better and better and better at it, and you will be able to use it better and better. Always add at the end. Always. Are there any qualifying questions that would help you answer this question? So you can either do it that, or you can make it, force it to ask you. Ask me 3 qualifying questions. Ask me any number, whatever number, but qualifying questions to answer this. So you can leave it up to ChatGPT, or you could require it. And then once you're using projects, so if you're in the paid ChatGPT, there's projects. Again, it's only $20 a month, but so you can keep it separate. So you could do like everything that you do about kitchens can be in one place. Everything you do with baths, basements, decks, so that it really gets to know the service. Or if you have a lot of clients, or maybe they're just high-end clients and you want to do it by client. So we tend to do ours more by client because we're focusing on the marketing for that client. But we also have sometimes things that we talk about because a lot of our clients do kitchen remodels and bathroom remodels. So we also have information separately in there as well. So that will help you. So what are the tools? We've talked a little bit. Let's talk about the tools that you should use. I've demonstrated and used ChatGPT a lot. I do like it. I think it's getting better. For a while, I actually got away from it and used Claude. What I think Claude is better for is writing. ChatGPT does good writing and research. It does more things. But if you're looking strictly for writing, I kind of like the stuff that comes out of Claude. There's a free version and a paid, and I'm almost positive the paid's like $20 or $21 as well. I know we have the paid version, but it's not more than that. It's not extremely expensive. And you can switch back and forth. Literally, people that I'm in a lot of groups of, and especially like Jonathan Mass and other groups, you'll see me and I'm active in there. And we'll kind of talk back and forth about, hey, did you notice that Claude got better or Claude got worse or ChatGPT got better at this or things like that? So we'll really keep you up to date by joining these groups. But what I would suggest is use this 100 prompt guide. You try a couple in each of the free versions for a while, see what you think. Choose one and start with that. And then maybe you want to try the paid version from there. So Claude and ChatGPT are great. Canva's really good for graphic design and AI writing, but caption writing, that was very good. Grammarly, we always use to make sure that our spelling tone is professional. There's no punctuation errors and things like that. That one's always good. Now, Perplexity, I love. And it can do writing too and content generation. But what I like it for much is the deep research. So what Perplexity will do, go in and again, there's a free version and a paid version. And I think the paid's about $20 too. So they're all seem to be about that for the paid. But when you ask it, like you might say, okay, what are the 10 best kitchen remodelers in Arizona? Or you can be more specific, in Phoenix, Arizona, right? Something like that. Well, you'll see, it does all this research. So if you Google that, it's going to give you a bunch of sites and you kind of have to go through and look through it. Perplexity will actually look through all those sites, give you their recommendations. Now it is their recommendations, but they will give you their recommendations. And then it will tell you the sites that it analyzed to get that data. So it's more, still you want to fact check, but it is better at research for things like that because it actually shows you where it got a lot of these. And if you do ask, hey, but where did you get this? And it can't get it, there are certain things like paid places that it can go, documentations that they would have to pay for to read, things like that, that they can't get. And they'll just tell you they can't get it. But for research, literally at this point in time, this is such a fastly changing, growing field, but research, love Perplexity. And we look at this a lot because people are starting to use this to find someone to remodel your kitchen or your bath or build you a deck. And they're also asking questions, and this is what we've learned, we put on our websites now, they're asking in depth, instead of asking you as a deck builder, they may say, what is the best type of wood and why to use in decks, or should wood? What's the difference between composite and real wood? What's the maintenance? And Perplexity will go out and research on all of these websites and come up with it. But your website would be listed if you answered that question best, right? Because they're going out onto Google, they're looking for the people that are ranking high for answering those questions. So you might have, anybody who works with us will have seen we're adding those kinds of questions to all of our websites because it's not just Google anymore that you rank for. You also have to rank on ChatGPT. Midjourney, a little bit, there is a free application, but it's very minimal. There is a little bit of a learning curve. It's not as easy as the others, but it does give you probably the best pictures around, and they're getting better and better. I mean, 6 months ago, only 8 months ago or so, we would get pictures and it'd be like somebody's hand coming out of their head from an AI picture. It's like, okay, that doesn't work. They'd have 7 fingers or all sorts of stuff, but it's getting better and better daily, probably minutely at this point. So what do you get today? So again, I hope you realize you do not have to be a tech wizard to use AI. You just need the right tools. You know, a simple one to start with is ChatGPT, but the others are fine too. And then the right starting point. And that's basically what we're giving you. So here is that ultimate guide that I've already put in the chat to give you 100 prompts. So I'm going to pull it up and look at a couple of them in a minute that you use. It's organized by sales, marketing, systems, and finance, and it works fine with the free ChatGPT. So let's just look at it quickly here. Get a little bit bigger. Ooh, I made it a lot bigger, but so again, you'll see that it comes down. So I'm just going to randomly pick one. Write a testimonial caption highlighting a satisfied customer's experience. So again, they're going to want to know. You want to know about your company. You want to maybe know about this client a little bit. Maybe know about the service a little bit. But then you're going to feed in the testimonial. You're going to say, ask it to write this testimonial caption, and then you're going to say, ask any qualifying questions, right? Generate a post showcasing a process from demolition to reveal, right? So all of these come up with 3 educational posts, ideas for homeowners thinking about remodeling their kitchen, right? The more you educate them, the more they're going to trust you. And it goes down into here. Now, next, sales prompts. So draft a thank you email for homeowners who booked a consultation, right? Once you've drafted that, put it in your automated system, boom, it goes out. Okay, write a proposal that emphasizes value over price. Right? This is something I hear, and we're working on putting on all of our websites from remodelers all the time, is that they're getting underpriced by people that don't have the right insurance. They're not really licensed general contractors. And so we are actually working on documentations that we're going to put on all of our websites and emails that will explain how important it is to work with contractors that are licensed correctly and do have the correct insurance. So these can just give you ideas, and then you use ChatGPT to help you write it. And then we're doing it by state because each state has different rules. But ChatGPT makes that easy, right? Marketing prompts. Create a local SEO blog title and outline it targeting, Boston homeowners. Something like that. Okay. And then it goes all the way in. So all these are just ideas, but use the framework that we presented early around these ideas. System prompts, right? Generate a weekly progress report, draft a project timeline template. So all of these are just ideas for these prompts, and then use that framework and you will get good answers. A bunch on financing as well. And then there's ways to reach us. I forgot to put on the YouTube channel, but also, if you just go to YouTube and look up Remodelers Marketing Crew, all of our past webinars and masterclasses are on there. And when we do the advanced one, we'll automatically let you know. But again, that will eventually be posted in there as well. So that's another benefit. And then just go to here. And that's the free acceleration system. So if you want to talk more about this, about your website or marketing that we can do or how AI can help you, please book a free acceleration session with us. That's also, if you went on here, if you just go to Remodelers Marketing Crew, you'll see there's a place to schedule there as well. And we can go over how to help you with the AI as well. So to wrap up, again, if you're a remodeler who wants to work smarter, not harder, AI is your friend, and it's something not to be afraid of. So my challenge is download this guide. I'm going to give you the other guide in a second, but download the AI prompt guide and try 3 to 5 prompts this week, and try that for a month and see where you're ready to grow. And then if you want any help with that, again, just talk to us about strategy. We're to make that what you think is hard stuff easier. Anybody have any questions or takeaways? Maybe while I'm doing that, I'm going to get this guide and put this, oops, So when you click on this link, it's going to say make a copy, and that way you'll have it for yourself. So let me put that in the chat too, and then kind of show you what that looks like. And then we'll have some time for questions. So again, you see it kind of just summarizes what we learned today. I think that this is the old one because I think I might have a link to the old one. Let me try that other one because it didn't have. So I just gave you the link to this one because I thought that our new one had the link to Jonathan Mask. Yep, okay. I'm going to put this one in the chat as well, just in case I didn't get the right one. And you can always paste. Reach out to us if somehow you didn't get this, but if you make this copy here, so it's going to go over what we talked about. It gives you a link to Jonathan Mask's explanation of his framework, gives you a link to this book if you'd like to read Jeff Wood's book. Again, higher level here, he's strategist. Jonathan Mask kind of really focusing more on the practical level things. Then this just reviews the 6 ways that we talked about. Remodelers are using AIs, the do's and don'ts, some of the tools that are listed here, and then your free guide to the prompts that are listed there. So I do see one question. Do you have to pay for ChatGPT to use the guide, or is that better? So you don't have to pay for ChatGPT, but you do get more. They'll save. You can have the projects that you save your information in, and it's either $20 or $21. It's something like that a month. So, but to get started, what I would highly do is start with the free one. If you like it, you want to invest the $20 a month. Did think I saw another question. Do not see the guide to download in the chat. Am I in the wrong place? I see them in the chat. Who was that? Was that Jen? Jennifer Dodd, do you see it now? Let's see if she answers. If not, I know we have your information, Jen, and I will have Sarah, she's on with here too. I will make sure that she emails you both of those. Here's your strategy session, download your free guide. So they should be right here, but I'll make sure that we email those to you, to Jen. And yeah, some of the other questions we often get, what if I'm not tech savvy? Again, just use the framework with these prompts and you'll get somewhere. Will AI make my content sound robotic? I think we kind of have covered that. It may in the beginning, but then you train it and then you never cut and paste, right? That was a never do. You always make it your own. Most times, I would say every week, I would save 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4, every time I use AI to help me. So yeah, and can I use this for deck roofs or painting? Yes, you can use these for anything. Those are other questions that we've been asked in the past. You just take the prompts here. Well, there it is. Yeah. No, yeah, here they are. I made them big. Just take any one of these prompts. Generate a job site cleanliness policy, right? Because it's something that I see all the time in reviews, all the time on Google Business Profiles, that people really don't like it when you leave their house and their site and it's a mess. But if you leave it, I hear people in the reviews, they left it better than when they got there. So having something like that as a standard policy, and you think, oh yeah, I'll get to it. It's on my list of things to do. But look at your list of things to do and then make it a prompt. And your things will get done much quicker. I can guarantee you that. Okay, let me just check. Do I see any other questions? All right. Okay. Well, we're just about at an hour. So again, we do every month we focus on at least one topic. I believe next month we're focusing on Google Business Profiles and how to optimize and get the most out of your Google Business Profile. I'm not sure the month after, but probably again, 2 months or so after, we're probably going to do an advanced AI for people that have been using it a little bit and then want to go a little bit further, more in depth, maybe develop their board of directors or something like that to ask questions. So go to the next level. But please really take these prompts, use them, and just get used to it. And the more comfortable you are with it, the more you'll like it and the better efficiency and productivity you'll get from it. I'm just amazed that I literally drive around in my car, sometimes talking to ChatGPT, doing research while I'm driving my car. Later, it does keep all the transcripts, so later on you can look at it, you can role play with it. It's amazing. You just need to realize how to use it. So thank you everyone for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at future events. Thank you.